Well, hello there. Today, in a couple hours from the time that I'm recording this video, there's going to be a maintenance on PC that was pushed back from earlier this morning. There were some issues with the patch, and so it had to be delayed a little bit until tonight. So, I am going to share with you what's going to be changed today, because there's actually kind of a decent number of changes this time. A bunch of things were fixed with Avernus. I'm not going to go into detail about all of them specifically, but a couple of the more important ones that I feel like are that treasure nodes are going to be a little bit easier to interact with. I mean, personally, I've noticed if someone is standing on top of where a map treasure location is, I can't interact with it at all until they move. So that has led to me just jumping around in circles around the person until they finally get out of the way a couple times. But hopefully that shouldn't be an issue anymore. And there are a couple of different enemies around Avernus that actually give you progress towards quest completion now, such as the ones that I can't pronounce, but I'm gonna go with Naufishni demons. In the heroic encounters, they now actually update quests whenever you are killing demons, because they're demons and it's just supposed to be that way. Also, whenever you leave the Infernal war machine, it now clears your action points. I don't know if I like that or not, because the way that's written makes it sound like it sets them to 0, even if you had full action points whenever you entered the war machine, but it already did that anyways. So I'm wondering if it's supposed to be the opposite. Actually, maybe I can go see it on preview. Hold on a second. So, here we are on the preview server, and I'm gonna head out and jump into my Infernal war machine, and I've got about 95% action points. So if I get in here and then leave, it sets me to 0%. Well, that answers my question, but that's really annoying. I thought that was a bug, and it wasn't supposed to clear your action points, because that really sucks. It should maintain the action points you had before you entered the vehicle, because the action points generate differently. You can see that as I'm just sitting here, they're generating now. But it shouldn't set you to 0 whenever you exit, because building up your daily sometimes takes a little while. Sucks to have that taken away, especially because it's not like I have a choice whether I want to use this Infernal machine. I don't have the option to just use my mount instead to avoid that. So yeah, that kind of sucks. Okay, we're back and it's time to talk about the Blood War again. So in the last patch, if you remember, I talked about how sometimes if the same side of the Blood War won multiple times in a row, there would sometimes be a really long gap between when the whole phase started and when the enemies spawned. So that should not happen anymore. But they did fix some things where the Blood War would go a lot faster or a lot slower than it's supposed to. So some of those instances should be fixed, so it shouldn't happen as often anymore, which is great, because when I was farming for my +5 condemned ring for this character, it stat at 3% for the demons for about 2.5, 3 hours. Never progressed past that point for that whole entire time. And that felt pretty bad. But then there were also times where it had just ended, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll go run up and do a heroic up in the Harriman's Hill place. And then by the time I left, it was already almost full again, so I was just like, you know what, turn around and go right back, and that's what I did. But yeah, the inconsistencies were pretty bad. My goat is just, like, murdering itself. Okay, so dungeon scaling item level has been increased by 1,000 in Caverns of Carendax, Temple of the Spider, and Master of the Hunt. So, as for what that means, it means that you're going to have a 1,000 higher item level there, so you will end up having a little bit more stats in those areas. Now, pinatas, everybody's favorite thing in this game. They now only drop loot whenever they're destroyed, not just throughout the whole process. Which, I don't know, I mean, when you hit a pinata in real life, it kind of just sprinkles out stuff for a while until you finally get the final blow on it and it just bursts everywhere. I feel like it should be like that in Neverwinter 2. Not that that's really important or anything. It's just, we need more realism in this game. So, if any of you still use the Heart of the Dragon artifacts, the set bonus has been changed. So if you equip if you equip 3 different Hearts of the Dragons, previously, as you can see here, it says reduces recharge time by 25% for any Dragon Heart artifact, and doesn't stack with the 75% reduction when no targets are hit. So basically, instead of being able to use an artifact every minute, it would be every 45 seconds. So the set bonus for that has been changed, and it now increases your recharge speed by 10%. I don't think that's going to make everybody or anyone go back and use that, but I mean, I guess it's cool. Anyways, among the various different classes of the game, there were powers that could build action points out of combat. I'm sure that if you play a cleric, you were aware that Blessing of Light used to do that, but that was fixed a little while ago. But they fixed some other instances of powers generating action points out of combat. I think that's something that they just don't want to happen at all. So you may notice that a power you used to use to generate action points no longer does that. Outside of combat anyways. So on fighters, Dreadnought fighters, there is a heavier slash feat, and it now actually works. It increases the magnitude of heavy slash by 435 whenever it's activated, instead of, not doing that, so that's always a good thing. And warlocks, as far as I can see, all the warlocks have gotten a free but forced retraining tokens. You are being forced to retrain your powers and feats just because there was an issue where Dread Theft and Curse Bite could be unselectable, like you couldn't slot them. So in order to fix that just for everyone across the board, they've given everybody a free respec, so it's a minor inconvenience, I suppose, if you didn't have that problem, but I mean, it eliminates a problem, and if you were wanting to respec anyway and didn't have a token, well, now is your chance, if you are a warlock. In Zariel's challenge, for those of you who are actually venturing in there, Zariel will now use Armor Break even if the target is more than 25 feet away, because previously if you were further than 25 feet away from her, she just didn't care. She was just like, not part of my immediate line of sight. I don't care about that person. So if you were wanting to discard a legendary insignia, or rather if you were not wanting to discard a legendary insignia, and you did accidentally, you shouldn't be able to do that again, because legendary insignias now have an extra prompt before you can discard them, which I think is good because those can get very valuable. Not as valuable as they used to be, but they can get very valuable, and it would really suck to accidentally discard them. Same as pretty much anything that is legendary, or even epic in some cases. So something interesting that I'm kind of excited about is the Magnificent Resurgence lockbox. This is the one that comes from the Zen Market and only appears at certain times throughout the year that you can get. So if you get a legendary mount from that lockbox from this point forward, it will be account-wide. So the account-wide mounts, for the most part, other than the most recent lockbox, have all been from the Zen store. And the Zen store has always sold account-wide mounts, so it makes sense. And I think that's pretty good to have another way to get account-wide mounts, as long as Magnificent Resurgence lockboxes are available. Anyways, and I'm curious what the price of those are on PC right now, so give me 5 seconds to type with 2 fingers because my mic's in the way. Magnificent Resurgence lockbox, 1,000,000 AD for 15. And in there is the Magnificent Resurgence Legendary Pack, Resurgence Legendary Pack, which is currently going for 18 million, and it has all of those mounts in it. And I would just like to point out that in there is the War Triceratops, and I know a lot of people have been wanting an account-wide War Triceratops, or just one in general. So if you get that in the future, then you will have it across your entire account. Okay, and that is pretty much all of the major things in my eyes that have been changed, or I guess will be changed with today's update that is happening in about an hour and a half from right now. So, thank you all for watching or listening or whatever. I hope you enjoyed looking at my beautiful negation enchantment that I will not be changing anytime soon because it's just so fabulous. And I don't care what any of you think. Tomorrow you'll be seeing me open another 75 lockboxes with my VIP keys. So that is exciting. So you have that to look forward to from me. So, I'm gonna leave now. I have some more refinement points to collect because I need a lot. So goodbye.